whatever, and then we can cut whatever we need to. Okay. Like I'll make it sound good. Don't worry.
Good morning. I'm here with Ness. It is the day after her first ever bikini competition, which was the NPC Elite Muscle Classic in Greensboro, North Carolina. And Ness traveled here from outside of Minneapolis?
Yeah, just outside.
Mm-hmm. Minneapolis, Minnesota for the competition. We are currently in the hotel room, kneeling on the floor.
Very professional setup here.
Professional.
We've got
we have the natural light coming in through the window.
It does make me look poreless, so I appreciate that deeply.
So Ness did absolutely fantastic yesterday, and she competed in 3 divisions, which was True Novice. And tell us what True Novice is.
So True Novice this is your first ever show, ever competition.
And the Novice division?
And then Novice is the first time, or that you've had shows before, but you have not placed yet.
And in the open bikini class, and the open classes are separated into height categories.
Correct. Yeah.
And Ness took a top 5 placing in all 3 classes that she entered.
Yay.
She had 2 third places and a 4th place finish.
Yes. Yay.
So how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling good. I know that you mentioned that I will need some time to sort of recoup and that I'll want a million different things, in the coming weeks. So I'm trying to be patient. But I'm still feeling pretty motivated. It was exciting to be, backstage. We can talk about the specifics, what I liked and what I didn't like. But yeah, I still have like a little bit of that glow from yesterday.
And you should.
Yeah, it was a very cool experience.
So tell us a little bit about what it was like to be a first-time competitor and the entire experience from first checking into the hotel and what it was like going through the entire process and the lead up.
Yeah, there's so much to say. I mean, I could talk about the process of just the kind of imposter syndrome that I felt during the, training process. And, in this day and age where you can see, you have so many photos and comparisons is easily accessible to you on the internet via Instagram or TikTok or, elsewhere on the internet. It is very easy to become intimidated by that and to not want to pursue something like that because, you go into the mindset of like, I do not belong here. Like, this is elite level stuff. And, but you also have to take into consideration that a lot of people on the internet, there is, Photoshop going on. There are other substances going on. And so you just have to take into consideration, like, no, I'm competing against myself. I'm doing this because I want to do this and because I want to challenge myself and put myself in kind of an uncomfortable situation so that I can grow from it. But it was definitely a little intimidating going into it at first. And then the weekend too, I mean, you're bare naked when you're doing your tanning, and so it's almost impossible not to, compare your body to somebody else's body of like, does she have those glutathions that I've heard so much about that are so gosh darn important? Does she have the abs? Are her abs more chiseled than mine? Of course, I'm trying not to do that during this whole competition, during this whole weekend, but they kind of set you up for failure in that sense where, it's all very public. Like they actually did a great job with this competition specifically, but I've heard, and I've seen even or like setups where it would just be totally out in the open. And
so explain what you mean by that. For people that have never been to a show and you said it's all very public and out in the open, you arrive for the weekend and there are things that you need to go through. It is not just dieting and training. You are going to present your body on stage. So in addition to all the work that goes into diet and training and your posing and presentation, what else is expected of you in terms of your appearance, which is what I think you're talking about?
Yes. So, the diet and the training is that's something I'm very comfortable with. That's something that, we've been doing for a while. I've been doing I have a powerlifting sort of background, strength training background. I've done 2 powerlifting competitions, and it is very individual throughout the whole process.
And we are, in a subsequent video, going to talk
a
lot in detail about what the diet was. So if we have not explained it before, I am Ness's coach. So I coach the training aspect of it and the diet aspect of it. And we actually also brought onto our team a posing coach, Amanda Harris.
Yay!
So I was a professional physique competitor, but knew very, very little about posing for a bikini, so we hired a professional.
But I could kind of relate to you in that, you know, when we get to the weekend, it is very much public. It's very much, you know...
By that, do you mean that your body is on display in front of other people prior to the competition?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So there are several tanning you know, experiences that you must attend, because there is the standard of being extremely dark on stage for you to be able to showcase your muscles more effectively. You're oiled up, but that requires many layers. And with somebody who is pretty pale naturally, I required an extra layer. And I think, you know, in the future we'll at least get a little bit more tan, now that I know that that is the expectation, and how much, you know, of a hassle it can be just to try to put that layer on so that I look similar to the other competitors. I will try to, ahead of time, probably get into the tanning bed, get some glow on me, you know, get some self tanner on me before, to make the process easier. But yeah, you're sort of on display in that, you know, there's no really, I mean, they want to get everything done as efficiently and quickly as possible. They're like, okay, strip down, get into this pod, we're going to spray you down, and then you're going to stand there for 10 to 15 minutes while you dry. So then you've got people walking back and forth, right? You've got, you know, ladies, you're around ladies the whole time. And it was very discreet during this competition. I've heard that it's not always that way. Maybe you can talk about like your experiences.
It's not always that way. We kind of look to focus on bringing your very, very best self, but it is a competition where you are being judged how you look compared to everybody else's out there. So even though the competition is about bringing your best self and competing against yourself, it is almost impossible not to start comparing yourself, because you are being compared when you're out there. So going into this as a coach in the process, it's like, we are going to get you to the very, very, very best version of yourself, whatever, in an attempt to match the criteria of the category. And then you get here and you just kind of start looking at everybody else. And no matter what we say, no matter how much you tell yourself, I am not going to compare myself, that is absolutely what you end up doing. And what Ness is explaining is, prior to even the day of competition, in the lead up, during the preparation, you kind of already start getting exposed to everybody, and it is somewhat intimidating. And really what you need to do is just bring it back to yourself. You know, the focus of, she has better gluteum tie-ins, or this one's shoulders look better, or this one's this, and there's some other amount of it, other aesthetics that, you know, whether we like it or not, are part of it. So what your hair looks like on stage.
Having long hair.
What your makeup looks like on stage. And if your tan stays on correctly.
Yes.
So you really start looking around, and when that happens, you kind of need to focus and be like, the only thing that I have control over is myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we did have an experience where I was having a little bit of an anxiety event in the bathroom of the, you know, of the venue. And, you know, Carol was in the bathroom and Gillian was in the bathroom, and I was like, my extensions do not match my hair color, and I don't want to look like an idiot on stage. And that was another sort of imposter syndrome type of fear, I think, where it's like, I don't want to look stupid on stage. I don't want to look like I don't belong. I don't want to look, you know, like I shouldn't be here. So I wanted to put my hair up. I was like, maybe if I put my hair half up, it'll blend a little bit better. And Carol was like, you do not want to do that. There is this standard where, you know, you're kind of, you know, in a sense punished for being an individual, but at the same time, you want to keep your individuality so that you have that personality, and that you have to find that balance between, you know, I need to keep keep this standard. I need to respect the sport enough to be like, no, the standard is to keep the hair down, to keep the hair covering the back for a bikini, certain set of makeup, nails, you know, toenails, like that is the standard that's set. And, you know, it in a sense, like that is the correct thing to do, because I'm coming in here as someone who isn't a competitor. Yes. I'm coming in here as someone who should respect the sport as it is.
Yes.
But my fears and insecurities sometimes are like, you know, they kind of, they wanted me to be led in a different direction. And Gillian presented it in a beautiful way, which was, if you want to keep this individuality, that's fine. You just have to be okay with the idea that you may place lower specifically because of this decision.
Yes. So there is an assumed standard, but it is very, very ambiguous. And oftentimes people are like, well, I didn't place well because I didn't wear my hair properly, or I didn't place well because it's easier to say I did something wrong, my suit wasn't correct, or my tan wasn't correct, than maybe to see on that day the person next to me presented better and the judges thought that she should have placed higher. So what we wanted to do is eliminate all of the variables that could be used as, like, you know, if you didn't wear your hair the way that is basically the standard, or if like you didn't tan to what is the standard. So I think Ness has the most beautiful skin I've ever seen, and I would have loved to have put her out there without a tan, but that we couldn't do something like that.
Yeah.
So a little bit about, do you actually want to cut this?
Sure,
off?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll cut it.